It's a bird. It's a plane. No, it's you. Be the hero of your own story. It's time for you to learn how to own your own voice and trust yourself to go after the things you want. Think of your voice as the soundtrack for your life. You're building a reputation in a way that your behavior is important and the way you interact with other people means something. Maybe you are coming from a place where you've been criticized as a child, and that is still sort of stuck with you. Maybe you have a fear of rejection. Maybe you're an overthinker. Maybe you're a people pleaser. Maybe you don't think you're enough or that what you have to say is valuable. I get it. I understand. I myself sometimes struggle with worrying about my extroverted personality, shall we say. I can be a bit much for some people. I know this. If you're listening and I've been a bit much for you, my apologies. That's why in this video, I want to talk to you about how to own your own voice. If you've been struggling in this area, this is definitely the video for you. Stick around until the end. Hey guys, I'm Andrea Patrick, the Be You Boss, and I'm here to teach you how to be unapologetically you, whether it's in your life, whether it's in your career, or if you have a business. Leadership is all about owning who you are so that you can leverage it to influence other people. All right, so let's dive into this week's content. Before we get into the content, though, I wanted to acknowledge for some of you all that I don't want you to think that change is easy. I recognize that it can definitely be difficult. I know that if you have been one way for a certain amount of time, it will be a little bit more of a challenge for you to do something different to get a different result. I wanted to acknowledge that. But I also wanted to share with you an opportunity to join my CEO collective. Now, what I have done is I have pulled together all of my courses, my challenges and quizzes that I believe are going to help you identify what it is about yourself that is going to knock your life out of the park. And by that, I mean, help you be the boss that you were meant to be. There are so many ideas and strategies out there for you to choose from. And I understand the analysis paralysis that happens and you don't know which program you need that's going to help you with the problem you have. Well, inside my CEO collective, it's really a page dedicated to make it easy for you to look at and understand which one could be right for you. Whether you're trying to get better at podcasting, whether you're not quite sure how to create promotional images for your business, or maybe you just want to know how to be the best version of yourself and leverage yourself across any platform, life, career, and or business. The CEO Collective is exactly what you need to go and figure out exactly what you need instead of listening to so many different ins and outs about like what you should be doing, what someone else thinks you should be doing. Go find out for yourself over on my CEO Collective page. All right, let's get to these ideas that I have for you that are going to help you own your voice. All right, so the very first thing that you need to do if you want to own your voice is to stand on business. What do I mean by stand on business? Well, experts become experts because they're doing the research, they are studying the information, they are practicing for perfection, they are doing all these things to enhance their skills and feel confident in their knowledge. If you are standing on business, you're doing these things. So if you want to own your voice, do your homework. Make sure that you're understanding and being very clear about what it is you're saying, who it is you're saying it to, and that you're offering up valuable information. Now, I mentioned 3 areas that you need if you are standing on business. Number 1, people who stand on business do it with facts. When you are owning your voice, what you're doing is you are speaking facts. Factual information can be checked and it can be verified. So It will enhance any conversation that you are in. It will definitely pour value into whatever topic you're covering at an event or at a networking event or whatever it is. Whatever it is you're using it for, factual information is going to enhance and improve and add value. Whether it's a conversation, a meeting, an email, your emotional intelligence here is also going to be helpful in determining and deciding when and if you need to use your voice and if it'll be beneficial or a value add to whatever it is you're doing. The next area that under this stand your business, I think will help you is your perspective. One of the things that I talk about a lot when I am coaching my clients when they have confidence issues is a lot of times the lack of confidence is coming because you have a fear that someone is going to think that you don't know what you're talking about, or what you have to say is not enough, or maybe you're afraid that you don't have enough facts or you can't answer the questions. That was one of my challenges. But what I came to realize is that your perspective, and you've heard me say this 1,000 times, is really the result of you being a snowflake or a fingerprint. You are the sum of your influence, experience, perspective, and passion. And no one has the exact same combination as you, which means your experience with something or your perspective on something is totally contingent on the way you have experienced it or how you've been influenced by it in a certain way. So your truth is what you're going for here. That would be the factual information. Your truth is your perspective, and you can speak from that standpoint. Okay. So I feel like I say this a lot. I'm always talking about the fingerprint or the snowflake because both of them are very unique. There are no same two alike. And I want you to have that idea about yourself, especially when you're standing on business using your perspective. Okay. So it makes it very easy for you to own your voice when you're coming at it from your own perspective, what you've lived, what you know to be true from your experiences and your influence. So it means that you have, like I said, experience with the topic that you are discussing, and you can speak to that topic based on your perspective or your point of view. All right. Lastly, under the standing on business section of this video are your opinions. Now, I know that we all have one. What I will say here is when you combine your perspective and your experience with the personal judgment, that is when your opinions will form. So you're walking a little bit away from factual information when you start thinking about those personal judgments that you might have. And that is when things start to turn into opinions. Now, are opinions okay? In some instances, they are. But they are judgments, and a lot of times not necessarily factual information. What I'll say here is your opinion is valuable when one of two things happens. One, you ask permission of the group or the person you're talking to give your opinion, and they say yes. The other is when someone solicits your opinion and they ask you what you think about something. When one of these two things happens, it is okay for you to stand on business and share your opinion. But my advice is to only offer your opinion when either of those two things happen. You ask permission to give your opinion, or you are solicited to give your opinion. Additionally, when you give your opinion, base it as closely to facts as you possibly can. So think of, again, your perspective, not necessarily some like idea or some pie in the sky thought that you really didn't give much thought to. All right. Next, if you want to own your own voice, you have to listen to your limitations. Now, a lot of us don't do this because we are given opportunities sometimes and we think that we have to take advantage of the opportunity. And so we will dive headfirst into something thinking, we'll figure it out on the way down. That works in some instances, but in a lot of instances, it doesn't. I think it's very valuable here to listen to your limitations. But before you can listen to a limitation, you got to know what the limitation is, right? Absolutely. So how does that work? Limitations don't have to silence you. You can actually use them as a value, because questions are just as valuable as the answer. And I'm going to talk to you about that in just a second. I'm sure that you are familiar with going to an event, being a part of a group setting, a training or seminar or something, and the person is offering tons and tons of value. And there is a question that you wish you could get the answer to. But for whatever reason, you are apprehensive about asking the question. Maybe you feel, again, it's a dumb question and people will judge you from it. Maybe you feel like it was asked and answered already. You just missed it. Whatever it is, I'm sure you've been in situations like that where you feel like you can't ask a question. I bet you've also been probably in that same training where someone actually asked a question and you see a bunch of relieved faces, or there is an outburst of, oh my God, thank you so much. What a good question. You may even hear that. In these instances, listening to your limitations means that you know yourself well enough to know when you need to speak up and ask for the answer to a question. The limitation is valuable when you are confident enough in yourself to ask the question and it provides an answer in the room for everybody else who wishes they would have asked that question. Okay, so listening to your limitations is going to help you identify when you need to speak up for yourself and own your voice. All right, so the last area that I think you need to consider if you want to own your voice is managing the volume of your personality. Now, I mentioned to you earlier that I have a tendency to have sort of a extroverted personality. And what that means is sometimes for some people, I can be a bit much. Now, my question to myself is, do I want to continue to be myself despite someone else's discomfort? Do I want to be empathetic to that person and dial myself back a bit? Or is this a situation where I absolutely need to be dialed down in listening mode and have the volume of my personality on a 2 or a 3? These are the questions that you have to ask yourself when you are managing the volume of your personality. Now, inside my program, Project CEO, which will be on the CEO Collective page that I talked to you about earlier, I have this defined as the controlling your behavior and reactions, good or bad, to influence or improve how you manage the expectations of yourself and others. So to do this, it's important to really establish a way to measure your reactions, a way to determine what your 1 is on your personality dial and what a 10 is on your personality dial. You have to establish those for yourself in order to know how far to dial yourself up or to dial yourself down. We go through all of this inside Project CEO. I suggest, for the sake of this video, that you understand what motivates you and what your non-negotiables are, and you determine a few levels that are between those two things. And that could help you, just for the sake of this video, manage the volume of your personality a little bit better. Now, when you use the combination of your emotional intelligence and you think about the framework, the personal framework that we talk about a lot here, is going to help you own your voice. Your emotional intelligence will help you read the room so you can manage the volume of your personality. Your personal framework gives you the guidance for how you want to live your life on a daily basis. And when you think about those two things combined, it will be extremely powerful in helping you to own your voice. Now, like I said, a lot of these terms that I'm using, I talk through inside my program, Project CEO. Get on the wait list for that. We're going to be opening it very soon. All of that information will be down in the description. Now, okay, if you think of your voice as a soundtrack to your life, like Shaft, let's just say. I mean, you can imagine Shaft walking down the street and the theme music going on behind him. You'll be able to confidently own your voice. Approach the use of your voice with facts, your perspective, and occasionally, when solicited or you have asked permission, your opinion. In this next video that I'm going to share with you, or over here, I am sharing my tips to help you influence those around you with 3 key areas of authentic leadership. In addition to owning your voice, you will have the tools you need to use your voice to influence others more easily. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching today's video, and I will see you back here again next week. If you have not already, if you made it this far, go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I am on a journey to monetize my channel. I need to get to 4,000 watch hours. So I hope you watched it to the end. And I would like to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of, let's say, the second or third quarter, but definitely by the end of the year. So if you are so inclined and you like what you saw, please go ahead and subscribe, share this video with someone you think needs it, and engage with me. Comment, leave a message down below. Let's talk about it. And I'll see you back here again next week. Bye, guys.